This TDT was to look at a collection on, or to make a collection of found objects, and we've chosen to do balls for ours. So this is just a photo of all the different balls that we have for the collection. So there's some big, some small, different uses. So this is just one of the tables. So one of the things that we had to do was organise them into things that you could see up close and up far away. And we also had to draw diagrams of the balls that we had in our collection. So these are also the different balls that we've used. So we have a football, which is quite big. We have a medium-sized basketball. We also have a small tennis ball, a red one, which is slightly different than your average tennis ball, but still a tennis ball. We also have a soft orange basketball. It's quite small, as you can see in close hand. We called this a rounder's ball. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it was like a rounder's ball. We also had a children's Spider-Man's ball, so it was quite a blow up, floaty type ball. So lots of different in variety. This is just one of the clients doing the work and filling out the forms and looking at the balls and seeing what was different. So here are the different ways that we organise the balls. So the first one is organised in size, so starting from the smallest to the biggest, and we also organise them through colour, so we've got the different colours with each other. And then we also organise them by their mass, so how heavy they were, and it's quite surprising to see. Okay, so these are the videos of the different bouncing. So this is one of the boys that I tutor. He decided to do this as an experiment. So we've taken each of the different balls and done them in order of their bounciness. So just to make it a fair experiment, we got them to stand on the same chair at the same height and drop them. So this was the final order. The next part was Cole looking at all the different balls and describing what he can see. So this is where Cole had his eyes closed and he had to hold all the different balls and describe what he felt and the textures and how heavy they were and things like this. So he has his eyes closed and he's talking to me and telling me how he feels about each different ball and ways to describe them. So the answers that he gave me are at the end. So here we go. So he described some of the balls, for example, the tennis balls being fluffy and quite small, and the big basketball is being able to feel the individual ridges. And lastly, here are Cole and Kieran's copies of their work. So they got to write up what they thought as well, and I've just added them in at the end. Okay, so the questions for our TDT was to make a collection of found objects, for example, leaves, pebbles, light bulbs, maps, coffee cups, round things. And because of where we were and the time constraints and things like that, we decided to use different balls. So we have found out basically quite a lot of things, and I'll just quickly go over them. So for example, the first question that we thought of was how many different ways can you sort your collection, and from a discussion we decided that you can do it from height, their texture, so how they feel, the material used, was it rubber or I don't know, a soft fuzzy material like a tennis ball. You can use their colour, their weight, their uses, and another thing that we decided was, which was one of the boys in my tutor group, was the bounce, so the level of the height of the bounce that they got. We didn't do it officially, but we did manage to roughly find out the difference in bounces and order them and sort them into the different bounce. Next we've got a table of the different balls we have and what you can see close up and what you can see far away. So just as an example, for example, for a basketball, the soft basketball, the little orange one, close up you can see the ridges, you can see the dots in it and how it's designed, and from far away one thing that you really notice is the colour. The other one was the Spider-Man ball, which is quite interesting, and up close you can really see how the photo was printed. whereas from far away all you see is the overall design, whereas if you look up close you really see the different pixels and things like that. So another question was how you can display your ball collection, and the boy that I tutor, Cole, came up with you can display it in museums, sports arenas, in an art class, a public display place, on posters, which is quite interesting, or in a shop. So that was good that he came up with that. In order to be able to move it, to make it an animate object instead of an inanimate object, he decided that you can use force by moving it yourself, or you can also use stock imaging, which is quite interesting, so taking pictures and putting it onto the computer. So we've got some drawings which I included early on, and then we also had to blindfold Cole and have him describe the different balls to us. So, for example, the football, he took the football in his hand and he described it as being quite lumpy but soft and quite small, and you can really feel the texture. The rounders ball, which was just the small yellow one, he described it as being quite a weird shape, and it was really hard. It was a hard ball, but it had quite a smooth, soft texture. The sponge ball, which was the orange and green one, he described it as being foamy and smooth, but also spongy. He said it was quite an odd sensation to touch it. And the last one, the big basketball, the big black, blue and white one, he described it as being quite rigid and rough, but also big and heavy, and you can really feel the edges and the lines. So what we found out was that there are many different ways to store or make a collection of balls. It's not just balls, you can sort them in their size, their uses, their colours. There's lots of different ways you can sort them, and also they look really different up close and far away, and they're all really different when you use a blindfold to try and describe them.